So, welcome back to day 3 of my road to 2300 on chess.com. Today I have the black pieces and my opponent plays e4, which is quite good. We can switch through all my repertoire, not see the same stuff at the beginning, which is quite nice. And against e4 I play standard e4, e5, and we get an Italian. Italian is also an opening where I have very little theoretical knowledge. It's just there's so many transpositions and there's so much to learn. I just have the system d6, a6, knight f6, castles, get the bishop to e6, trade the bishop on c4, try to go for d5. Yeah, and see how it goes. My opponent plays an opening which is not that popular on my level anymore, but very popular on the intermediate level. He plays the early d4, and I think on the intermediate level you have to have something against this, and you have to know this because if you play knight c6 on the second move, and you play this Italian line. And now he plays e5. Stuff I see more often is this, where after castles you can play bishop c3, and after bc3 you need to remember to get in the move d5. Or you can play after castles, you can play knight takes, b takes, and you have to play d5 here, otherwise you are way worse. If you do something like this, you're going to suffer. He plays this advanced gambit, and so far I know it. And here I thought I knew it. I thought I knew that knight d7 was a line, but it isn't, which is unfortunate. So you play knight e4 in this case. I have to figure out what exactly the difference is, because there is a line in a Scotch gambit where you can play knight d7 and where I do play knight d7. But yeah, I have to figure out where the difference is. But as I mentioned in the previous videos, these inaccuracies in the opening, they don't really matter, as my opponents are not capable of punishing those without giving me chances. Of course, they can punish them and they can win games against me, but I will get chances to fight back. Here, notice the d5 pawn is not for grabs because the knight is pinned. So my opponent castles. Now he's threatening d5, the d5 pawn. And so far, I thought this was theory. It isn't. And now I started to think, and I thought I came up with something clever. I'm playing knight d7. The knight wants to go to g6, and I play c6, get the bishop back to e7, and defend. My opponent has more space. He wants to attack on the king side, and I'm ready to defend. The engine thinks I'm just not able to defend, but as I said, my opponents won't be able to punish this completely accurately. And now I play c6, force the bishop to move back, and now I play f6 to also force this bishop back. And immediately my opponent makes a mistake, and well, I'm better. Now my opponent has to take with the bishop because his bishop is hanging, and I'm getting the bishop pair, which is an advantage. Also, his d4 pawn is kind of soft. So as I said, I thought this was all theory, so I didn't think I was worse, but I survived a pretty bad position. Now I play knight f5, attacking this d4 pawn. Not really. If he plays like a stupid move and does this, he'll also win a pawn and open my king. But I'm just keeping an eye on it. Maybe there is some bishop maneuvers to attack the d4 pawn. Also, the d4 pawn is isolated. It can't be defended by another pawn. So I thought in this position I was already doing pretty well. Queen h5. I want to evict this queen, but I thought if I play g6, he can play knight takes and force a draw. After this, oh lol, after this, and he can't force a draw because I can block with the bishop and the bishop covers g6. Yeah, that was oversight by me. So I want to prepare the move g6 and not worry about the sacrifice of the knight. So I play queen f6. Now I'm threatening g6. Also, I'm threatening this pawn. Not yet, because afterwards h7 hangs, but if I play g6, h7 won't hang anymore. That's why he trades. And now I have position 2 bishops against 2 knights. Soft pawn, but this knight is very strong. But it's semi-open position. I thought I was better. And now I kinda misplay it here. I thought that after knight a4, I want the bishop to remain on this diagonal, but the inclusion of f4 made it difficult, because I thought if he goes knight f4 immediately, I have bishop takes. I have even bishop takes, but let's say, how can I make a useful move for white without playing f4? Anyways, I thought after knight a4, if he goes knight c5, I can take the knight and then really have this knight extremely weak. But if he plays f4, this knight is not weak ever, because I have no pawns anymore. And I have light square bishop, so this knight is here as long as it wants. Yeah, and this is what happens. First, I don't want to depart with the bishop pair, but playing something like this also didn't feel really right. So I thought, okay, he has this knight on e5, I'll get my bishop to e4, and we'll just say, okay, it's level, because I have a weak pawn on e7, but he can't really attack it with his rooks because my bishop controls the b1 square. I thought, here we are level. If you are asking about king h8, there was some potential. If I double up, there's some potential with like knight forks. No, not. I was preparing g5. Maybe hinting at g5 to undermine this knight. That's why I played king h8. And here I parted with the bishop pair. He takes with the b pawn. This pawn is weak, but it's not so easy to target it. And I thought he also has some weak pawns, although also not that easy to target, so I thought we had an level position. Here I'm trying to trade. I didn't really want to trade queens, but I didn't really see what else I could do to have progress in this position, because I thought I was okay in this position. I thought I was playing this for a win. I thought, and now I can activate my rook on the h file with a rook lift. And there's an idea, not in this specific moment, but there's generally the idea, disregard that my queen is hanging at the moment, to like have something like this and play queen against two rooks. But queen against two rooks is dangerous. Also, here it doesn't have really many weaknesses, but just as an idea to keep in mind. The idea behind queen c8 was to guard the b7 pawn and to maybe enable this idea again, to sacrifice the rook for this knight and play rook g6. He plays f5, preventing this idea, although I don't think he considered it really. But he sacks a pawn, and I just took it. And here I was kind of afraid for some knight discoveries, so I immediately went back, bishop e4. But I underestimated the counterplay he'll get on the f file. And this is like such a move immediately tells you that I missed something, because bishop e4, rook f1, bishop g6, I could have just gone with the bishop to g6 anyway in one row after from e5, from f5. So this is like really a sign, okay, I missed something. Also, my opponent probably noticed this and got a good feeling. And now he plays knight f7. I really didn't want to trade and allow a rook on f7 protected by another rook. But here I considered it a bit. And the good thing is for me that I have rook g6. Because if I didn't have rook g6, he would be threatening mate. If I defend it, he can move his rook and maybe even double up on the 7th rank. If he manages to double rooks on the 7th rank, ouch, I will have a very hard time. But I have rook g6, now his queen has to move, and if his queen moves to like a weird square, like there are literally no weak squares that don't blunder the queen, lol. But potentially I have something like this. Looking at the h3 pawn, he doesn't blunder it. And if I move my queen now, he has rook f8 checkmate, so I'm kind of stuck on the back rank. I'm playing h6 because I really want to get rid of this back rank weakness. Now I can activate the queen, and I'm looking at queen e6, queen e3, because I really want to trade queens, because he has so much more activity than I have, even if I have to sack the b7 pawn. Remember, I'm up a pawn at the moment, so sacking a pawn, not a big deal. Generally, if you want to defend positions, if you're up material, it might sometimes be a good idea to give back material and not be materialistic in order to survive the position and get some trades in. Like in this position, if I can sack the b7 pawn in order to get a pair of queens and a pair of rooks off the board, happily take it. He plays queen h5, and this is just like this was maybe not so smart of me, because I could have gone queen e6 in one go. I flicked in rook g5, made the queen move again, and now I play queen e6. And this is the idea that I mentioned. This is a free pawn for him, but I can trade queens. And if he wants to prevent the queen trade, he'll have to play something like king h2. And now, I don't know if he's better anymore. I mean, I see from the eval bar that he isn't better objectively, but maybe even practically, because now I am attacking here, and if he still doesn't want to trade queens, then he's suddenly very passive. I can maybe do this, even prevent him from winning a pawn, and now I have this have the active pieces. So yeah, he takes on b7. I trade queens. Engine didn't like it, but whatever. We are both at 2 minutes, as you can see. And now something weird happens because we just both take like all the pawns, and he is like, he was most of the game, he was up on time, and now he suddenly starts to get low on time, and I think he just didn't get the urgency, that he just didn't switch to, okay, you can get flagged, because we are playing without increment. Here, like, he spent 30 seconds out of 1 minute 30 in a position where basically every move is fine. I don't know if he's still trying to win the game, but yeah, he has a pawn on c7, but he has a rook in front of it, and I'll just double my rooks here and get the pawn. If he goes rook f7, I can like go rook c2, and I'm attacking. I will get two rooks on the second. I will for sure get in a perpetual. You can't win this. You can't try to win this. Also, I noticed that he is running low on clock, and thought, okay, we'll just eliminate the pawns. Maybe even get some rook trade in, and then flag him. Because if I get 2-on-1 with rooks on the board, I can flag him. And yeah, that's about what happens. And he just doesn't get the urgency. Like, he has 50 seconds and he spends 18, which is like way too much. And now he still has 31 seconds, and I play rook d3, and he runs out of time. And I checked his connection. He had connection at the moment, so I can't really explain this. I think I would have won this game because he has to play rook c2, and now I can take on d4. I'm up 2 pawns. Yes, this is theoretically drawn, and I think this is the Vancouver position, because he can attack this pawn, and if I want to defend this pawn, I need to play both rooks here, and now I can't really make any progress. I think this is the Vancouver position, but I'm not 100% sure. But with so little time, and I don't know if he knows about Vancouver positions, I think I would have won this, even if he just didn't take 30 seconds out of his last 30 seconds. But yeah, this is the game. Quite a sad ending. What can we learn from this game? Be mindful of the clock, I would say. This is like the most. Be mindful of the clock. Here we were about equal time. He's slightly up on time. He's slightly up on time. Here, like in the beginning, he was, I think, at some point he was like up a minute or something. No, he's slightly down time. Here. He's up on time. But yeah, be mindful of the clock, and at some point. So for me, I have about one minute is my target line. If I go below 1 minute, it's bullet mode. I just don't think anymore. Just go and play. Yeah, here he's allowed up in time. But yeah, hope you enjoyed the game. 20-10, 90 points still missing. Hope to continue the trend tomorrow, and bye bye.